In this video, the aim is to be able to um, install and pull from AWS Code Commit the source code for the AGAS desktop application and the AGAS portal uh, application. Now, to do that, a very simple process. Um, Once you have access to this URL I just copied. Let's start with the AGAS on. You start Visual Studio and you click on clone or check out code. It asks you for the repository location, then you copy that location. You can leave the default location path, so you can install it there, or you change it to location of your choice. But once that is done, you click on clone. Now, at any particular point it asks you for login, it is very important you put the right login, which is the code commit credentials that I will have created and sent to you. So, because there's an issue when you are prompted for Git credentials by Visual Studio or the Windows operating system, and you use the wrong one, especially as it has to do with AWS. So if you're not sure, anytime you try to do any of these things I'm telling you now, and you are prompted for credentials, please try and get over and ask. Otherwise, resolving it after putting a wrong credentials becomes an issue. So right now you can see the code has been downloaded. I will do the same too for the AGAS portal. So I'll start another instance of Visual Studio and I will go back to that portal and copy the Git URL. I come here again, paste it, and I click on clone. So it does the same thing. So it talks about some unsupported setup projects from 2019. Just click OK. And so make sure you are connected to the internet. I come here, do the same thing for the AGAS portal, switch the view to the solution view. You can see the report on the conversion process to 2019. So the AGAS portal tool has been downloaded. So I'm just waiting for the system to complete build. For then, I think I already have a database instance for the AGAS database. I really don't know for which instance is this. Most likely one of our clients. But if I go to the payables table, I should be able to see an insight into which database is this. Just want to make sure that the database has data in it. The recording is a little bit having some processing toll on the system. That's why I'm just going to wait for this project to finish building before I build the portal itself. So this project is for the desktop application which we are converting. Now, while this is building, let me just use this opportunity to explain something about the presenter pattern. Now, the presenter, um, for any of them, what you will notice is that there are two interfaces that are involved. Yes. So the build was successful, and so all I need to do now is to change the connection string of the application. So the connection string now will carry the AGAS DB database. Once that is done, build only this one again. just for the build because I don't want to run the Visual Studio build from. I don't want to run the application from inside Visual Studio. So once I open the file, this folder, I can just go to the bin, go to debug code, and look for the .exe file. Connection issue. Okay. So you just put the connection string that relates to your own database. Still some connection issue. Okay, sorry. I think I know the problem. The name of the database I have not changed the name of the database. So I will the name of the database server. Oh, okay. This is an error that has to do with this part here. There's this file that we need to get the location of the folder. So take this location and I come here. Yes. So that's the setup for the desktop version. So for the portal version, what we do is come here, build. So this has also succeeded. Everything is succeeded. Now we have to change the startup project to this. Then also we'll now go in and edit the also edit the connection string. And for this, I just need to change this. So once we've done that, and also the location of this file also is updated, which is amazing. So these are locations for the INI file that needs to be in the app config. So once it doesn't resolve, some things will not work as usual. So I can now come here and I will run the application now by clicking view in browser. Now there are some things that will normally happen the first time you are running a DevExpress framework against the database for the first time. Now one of the things that will happen is that some tables will be created. Now if you look at this database, I think I have run this framework against it before, but when you see these permission tables, that's an indication that the framework has already connected to that database. So there are some things that are given to you out of the box. Role management, user creation, and everything is done out of the box. So what I've done is I have integrated this system with the existing login system that was already being implemented in the desktop application. So I'm going to take you through how we are going to, as a user, be able to synchronize the framework authentication system with the existing one that the desktop application is already using. For example, if I come to the system users table and I open it, you can see all these users are already users used by the system, right? So the desktop is already validating here. Meanwhile, the framework of DevExpress is using this table for its own validation. You can see only user and admin has been created, a user called user and a user called admin. So right now, I'm going to synchronize these things. There's a module to synchronize these ones as users in the system so that they can now find their way into this table. So let's see. Okay. Um, right now, if I try to log in with these credentials, this default credential is going to tell me, of course, login failed. The user is not there. But I know that admin uses a blank password because admin is already created automatically by the framework. If I'm to show you the code that does that, you click on here, go to this database of data, and you will see that when the application is starting for the first time, it creates the user and it creates an admin and it creates all the two roles and puts them in the appropriate role. So right now, admin is already there. Once I click login, it comes with blank password. So I'm automatically logged in and I've created this view into this table. So if the user that I was using the other time, so if I want to commission any of these users now to be able to use the portal, what I just need to do is click on the user and I will copy the user ID. So I'll go to new as if I want to create the user for the first time. This is how you create users normally. But if the user is already existing as a user of the desktop application, what the system does is that it will commission the user into using this portal. So it's not that from the technical point of view, what happens is this user that I'm planning to create now, which is High Court user, so the user is somewhere. You can see it. What is going to happen is that that user will now be created in the framework's user table. So this table contains only two records, but by the time I'm through with creating this user, you will notice now that the user is now existing here. Meanwhile, with his own password, all users are defaulted to password at 123. So if I now come out, I can log back in as that user. And every user is created with the default role. So for now, the default role cannot do anything more than just change its user ID and password. So if I go back in now as admin, I can now go to default, go to roles, and I will say the default role, I want it to have permission to, I want to give it the default role permission to be able to use a navigation called cachebook and allow. Then I save and close. Now, if I look at that default again, I will see that one of the user is the high court user. So this is how you can check. So now I have given the default role the ability to look at this menu item. So by the time I log back out now and I log in now again as the high court user, I will automatically now see that the roles has been added. So role management and menu management is a very simple thing that comes out of the box with this framework, and that is how you are able to configure it. So this is just a general introduction into the simple installation process of the desktop application and the web portal application, both of them looking at the same databases, and the role management and the commissioning of existing users into the framework so that they can actually use it. Um, so that is so in the next subsequent videos, I'll be showing you how we will manipulate this framework to be able to achieve the conversion process.